Ci rivolgiamo all'UNESCO perché aiuti lo Yemen a salvarsi dalla sua distruzione, cominciata con la distruzione delle mura di Sana.
We turn to UNESCO and ask it to help Yemen, to rescue it from the destruction which has begun with the decaying of the walls of Sana.
E del paese prezioso che esso è.
In 1973, the Italian film director and poet Pier Paolo Pasolini, who had just completed shooting his film 1001 Nights, issued an urgent appeal to the international community. He warned of the imminent decay of an entire city, of the loss of cultural identity following Sana's understandable efforts to improve living conditions.
Di essere un bene comune dell'umanità e di dover proteggersi per restarlo.
Sana'a, capital of the Arab Republic of Yemen, 15 years later. The Old Town district has been preserved, but the dangers still haven't been banished.
Since the country was opened up to visitors at the end of the 1960s, following centuries of rule by a Muslim dynasty, Sana'a has changed radically. A modern urban environment, resembling cities in industrial states, surrounds the walls of the historic Islamic city centre, which has grown organically over the centuries. To enter the Old Town district through the Bab el-Yemen gateway is to step back into the past.
The word Sana'a means well fortified, but all the same, it has been almost completely destroyed several times in the course of its history, which probably stretches back 2,000 years. Again and again, the local citizens rebuilt their houses in traditional style. The city that confronts visitors today dates back mainly to the 18th and 19th centuries. Only a few mosques, caravanserais and a few houses are of older origin.
Old Sana'a is famed for its tall houses with their rich stucco ornamentation. These houses, between 5 and 9 stories high, are generally occupied by one large extended family. As is customary in Yemen, the ground floor is fortified. The living rooms are always on the upper floors. At the top is the mafrach, where the head of the family normally lives. The town centre consists of about 6,000 of these stone and mud high-rise buildings. The gardens between them were once used for growing vegetables. Self-sufficiency in food supplies was part of Sana'a's fortification concept.
Sana'a became a big and wealthy city because it was so easy to reach from the highlands of Yemen, and because trade could flourish there unhindered. Feuding between rival tribes was not allowed within the city. Trade still goes on in the countless souks, the markets of old Sana'a. Trade in spices, camels, and articles of everyday use.
Many traditional crafts are no longer practiced to anything like the same extent, but demand for the curved Yemeni daggers known as janabayas has remained unchanged. For the men of North Yemen, these daggers are still an important status symbol. This old man, who says he thinks he's 90 years old, complains about the extent to which Sana'a has changed.
The Old Town district has deteriorated rapidly in the last 15 years. The advent of the modern age has resulted in changed needs and requirements. More and more rich merchants turned their backs on their inherited property and built more comfortable houses for themselves on the outskirts of the city. Many of the old houses are dilapidated, and quite a few buildings have already collapsed. But this process could still be halted. In the meantime, rising property prices have made investing in the Old Town district a more attractive proposition again. But that in turn brings new problems. Many occupants are carrying out modernization on a do-it-yourself basis. They're probably not aware of how much damage they're doing to the fine mud brick architecture through their uncontrolled installation of sewage pipes. In many cases, water has already ruined the very fabric of the buildings. Only very slowly is a process of rethinking getting underway. It's hoped that a new sewage network will prevent further houses from collapsing. And the city authorities have begun to pave some of the streets and alleyways.
The Dar al-Jadid. Here, since 1986, a technical office has been coordinating all preservation and restoration activities. The technical office carries out the projects, which are financed by the Republic of Yemen itself. It issues regulations on restoration and subsidizes private initiatives by house owners. International aid programs are also coordinated here. Up to now, though, there have only been limited bilateral projects. Italy, for example, is restoring the entire Ma'ad district with its 60 houses, while Norway is financing the restoration of the Al-Nahas caravanserai.
Oh, so this is the one that we wanted.
The Federal Republic of Germany is restoring the Al-Majja caravanserai, which once provided accommodation for traders from outside the city and also served as the warehouse for the souk. Today, it only houses a few shops. Once work is completed, the building will accommodate a training center for traditional handicrafts and a tourist information office. The costs of restoring the Old Town district are immense. They're estimated at between 400 million and 3 billion US dollars, depending on the particular concept. But that's not the only factor which worries the technical office. The Yemenis want to avoid Sana'a being turned into just a museum for tourists. They're trying to preserve the Old Town district as a quiet, historic center, but with a modern infrastructure in which the local people can live and work the way they always used to. Thanks to those craft traditions which have been preserved, a great deal can be repaired or replaced. The typical transom windows are still made in the traditional manner. The only difference is that instead of thin polished alabaster, coloured lead glass is set into the arabesques of the stucco frames.
Years ago, Sana'a was an important center of the early Islamic world. That is something evidenced by the history of the Great Mosque. It's said that building work on it began during the lifetime of the Prophet Muhammad and in accordance with his instructions. In the following centuries, the mosque was extended and rebuilt several times. When it was restored in 1974, scholars found fresh proof of the early significance of the city of Sana'a. In a sealed chamber, they discovered 40,000 fragments of more than 1,000 different Quran manuscripts from over 10 centuries. In a project which has been going on with international support since 1982, these manuscripts are systematically being preserved and catalogued. The project also serves to provide further training for Yemeni scholars. The huge quantity of outstanding Quran manuscripts and illustrations from the early Islamic period document the great Muslim traditions of Sana'a. The find caused considerable excitement in the neighbouring rich oil states, but that doesn't seem to have roused their interest in preserving this city. So far, financial help has come only from the non-Muslim world and has been restricted to the kind of bilateral projects we mentioned earlier. There are still no comprehensive plans for restoring the city. And so the men will continue to come in the afternoons to the mafrach, to chew the leaves of the cat shrub, which produce a kind of mild trance, and to talk about old times and modern developments. Today, ancient traditions are cast in doubt, and only worldwide solidarity can help to ensure the future of this city. Back in 1973, Pier Paolo Pasolini formulated it like this.
Nowadays, there is no longer any such thing as a Western or an Eastern culture. For some time now, the boundaries have been blurred. There is only the modern, all-inclusive culture which belongs to all of us. For Europeans, the old city walls of Sana'a are just as important as the lagoon city of Venice.